Inside your body, an army is mobilizing. It's defending its homeland against all invaders, whether they come by land or by air. Man the barricades as our bodies fend off attack in a hostile environment. Next on Body Atlas. This battle is the closest Graham will ever get to mortal combat. But our couch potato is still a hero. Even on a lazy afternoon, his own body is under siege, fighting off billions of enemies, the parasites, bugs, and germs which surround him. Our bodies have evolved their own lines of defense, a microscopic army of cells with specialist roles. They obstruct attackers, destroy invaders, and even repair damage. 20th century living looks easy, yet without this invisible army of cells, we'd never survive beyond infancy. Spears are only part of his dream world, yet cuts and wounds are a fact of everyday life. Skin is our first line of defense. If it's breached, the body mobilizes its troops instantly for defense and repair. Blood contains all the ingredients of a first aid kit. Here are the key players hugely magnified. Platelets to plug the wound, white cells to mop up dirt and debris, and to kill infection. Here's how a cut arm heals, filmed over 4 weeks. We'd all die young if it weren't for this rapid mending process. Healing starts in our bones. This is where the body manufactures its defense and repair brigade. Bone marrow is the birthplace of specialist shock troops that patrol in the blood. First into action are tiny cells called platelets. They charge through the blood vessels to plug the wound. Without them, we'd bleed to death from the tiniest scratch. At top right is a mass of red blood cells, forming a clot. They're trapped in a microscopic network of fibers which form in the blood wherever there's a cut. The clot stops blood from leaking out and germs from getting in. Alerted to the damage, white cells in the blood now move up into the front line. Specialist cells called mast cells mobilize to perform a crucial role. They erupt, releasing a chemical called histamine. It dilates blood vessels surrounding the cut and makes them leaky. Vital repair and defense cells can then escape out of the bloodstream into the tissue and penetrate to the site of damage. Among these are the scavengers, special cells which mop up dirt or germs that have invaded the broken skin. Here, a defender literally consumes its enemy. These cells and the resulting casualties appear as pus on the outside of the wound. They make a cut look nasty, but it's a sign that the body is being repaired. So too is the scab on the skin surface. Under this protective cover, healing and regrowth can begin. This special cell doing its dance of the 7 veils is called a pericyte. It's on its way to a scene of damage. The pericytes knit together to form a sheet of new skin at the surface of the wound. At the same time, skin cells in the deepest layers are stimulated to grow faster, to replace the ones which have been lost. This ball of cells will smooth out to form a new layer of skin. Fortunately for our sleeping beauty, this scene of battle is all a dream. Yet the body is never safe from attack. His luxury home is no sanctuary. It looks clean, yet it seethes with invisible marauders. Inside his cushion, dust mites, here magnified 100 times. These eyeless monsters share bed and board with even the most fastidious. Curtains and bedding, carpets and soft furnishings all make ideal breeding grounds for the house dust mite. Millions can live in a single pillow. Even a teddy bear can play host to them. Dust mites feed off the dead skin cells that we all shed. They may look cute, but their dung pellets can kill. Breathed in, they can trigger asthma. Dust mite pellets may be the commonest cause of this 20th century scourge. Our modern homes, warm and poorly ventilated, encourage dust mites. Their droppings hang in the air like fine dust. Graham can't avoid breathing them in. He's unaware of the dangers. Yet dust mites are not the only creatures sharing his comfy abode. In the woodwork and cushion of an antique chair, there may lurk bed bugs. Birds roosting in the roof also bring lice with them. They get into our homes and feed off us in bed. Our pets too carry lodgers, fleas, which also feed off human blood. Cat fleas merely make us itch, but fleas can spread killer diseases, typhus and plague. In the Middle Ages, the Black Death killed 1/3 of the population of Europe. It was spread by the flea. And even the cleanest human is a bug motel. Tiny lodgers live in the roots of our eyelashes and crowd in the pores around our noses. This is a human mite, hugely magnified. And at the top end of this whisker, another mite slithers round the hair on an afternoon stroll. In the warm air of Graham's kitchen, millions of even tinier organisms are also looking for board and lodging. Yeasts, fungi, mold, bacteria. We live in a soup of them. They multiply fast on our food and on us. Graham may feel refreshed, but he's still not clean. Soap and water will remove dust and grime. But all this scrubbing still leaves behind billions of yeasts and bacteria, permanent residents of the human skin. This ghostly imprint reveals the colonies of bacteria which survive on your hand and flourish, even after a thorough scrub. Bacteria are on us and inside us. about 2.5 pounds of them just in your intestines. Face, neck, and armpit have the highest count. There are 16 million microbes in every square inch of your armpits. To seek out these microorganisms, we fly down into the unfamiliar landscape of the human skin, magnified thousands of times. Bugs live around oil and sweat glands, which provide them with food. Many find temporary lodging under the dead outer cells of our skin. We provide a warm home for bacteria and a traveling snack bar. They lodge in every crevice, even the ridges of our fingertips. Fungi do best in moist environments, feet and groin. Bugs between our toes give themselves away by releasing pungent gases. These smelly organisms belong to a family of bacteria which cheesemakers add to brie to provide its ripe smell. Our resident bacteria pay for their keep. They protect us by preventing harmful bugs from taking hold. Living on our skin are deadly microbes, Staphylococcus and Streptococcus. Should they get into the bloodstream, both can kill. Our microscopic allies defend us. They make antibiotics which keep killers at bay. Every hour of every day, these friendly microbes are waging chemical warfare on our behalf. They are the advance guard of the body's inbuilt defense mechanisms. And Graham, though he doesn't know it, is now putting his own defenses to the test. Leaving behind the seething communities with which he shares his home, he's heading for some fresh air. Far from the madding crowds of mites and microbes and the obvious dangers of pollution, he should be safe. Yet Graham's body defenses remain on the alert. His first line of defense is his skin, his tough, waterproof coat. The outer layer peels off daily, shedding bugs and dirt. But to live, there must be holes in this armor, to hear and see, to eat and breathe. Each vulnerable orifice has its own protection. Hairs in his ears keep out dirt. Earwax is a sticky grave for bugs. Tears contain a powerful antiseptic. We rarely get eye infections. His nose is another weak point in his armor. Hairs in the nostrils trap some invaders. And in the nasal passages, mucus immobilizes bugs. Millions of microscopic hairs called cilia capture debris to protect our sensitive airways. But some things escape these defenses. Our lungs are a vulnerable battleground. Asbestos fibers, pollen and dust, waste from the factory chimneys, tar from cigarette smoke, all may slip through to clog up the lungs. In this idyllic spot, the air looks clean and healthy, but Graham hasn't left his problems behind. Pollen, dust mites, cat dander, all can trigger the miserable symptoms of allergies, hay fever, and asthma if they get up our noses. Scientists believe that allergies are a 20th century affliction. We sneeze because our immune systems make a mistake. Until this century, parasites like these worms lived in our intestines. Our bodies evolved ways to attack them. Hay fever sufferers react to substances like pollens and dust mites as if they were protecting themselves from this long-gone worm. Mast cells, so vital for damage repair, burst into action in the mucous tissue of eyes, nose, and bronchial tubes. They flood the region with histamine, which makes eyes water and noses run. The miserable symptoms of hay fever are a case of mistaken identity. Graham's outer defenses are not foolproof. His skin is tough, but it may suffer harm. Without the sun, there would be no life on Earth. Yet UV radiation can burn and age our skin. It can cause skin cancer, one of the fastest growing killer diseases of the Western world. His armor may be breached in other ways, by predators not content to wait for an opening. Blood-sucking insects spread diseases. They inject parasites into the bloodstream, which colonize liver, kidneys, and brain. Malaria and sleeping sickness kill thousands in the developing world. Graham's body has fought off the attacks of the countryside as well as the dangers in his home. He never even knew he was at risk. He slept through it all. 2 million years of evolution have seen to it that he'll survive if he falls off his bike or cuts himself while shaving. The healing process goes on all the time. After an exhausting afternoon, Graham joins his friends for an evening drink. The bar's another place for a couch potato to park himself and have a well-earned rest. But now he could really be in trouble. It's the perfect environment to catch something nasty. Humans are sociable creatures. It's just what germs need to survive and thrive. Germs are man's only remaining predator. In a crowded bar, it's hard not to inhale other people's breath, along with other pollutants. Tim's got a cold. We catch at least 2 a year, and it's easy to see how. With every cough and sneeze, he's firing out germs. Infectious material may be shot 13 feet at faster than the speed of sound. You also catch colds by contact. They are more likely to be passed on by touch than by coughs and sneezes. We carry germs on our skin and transfer them to others along with deposits of dead skin cells which we constantly shed. To show us where he and his bugs have been, we put a special fluorescent dye on Tim's hands. Now we'll rerun the scene in UV light. A few bugs for Judy. Some for the peanuts. A few more for Judy. And here go a few more to the bartender. Some of Tim's germs can be killed by antibiotics. Bacteria like this one literally explode. But antibiotics won't touch viruses. Polio, AIDS, hepatitis, they exact a terrible toll. In 1919, Spanish flu wiped out more people than World War I. This is a computer portrait of a cold virus. It's one of the most primitive forms of life. Viruses cannot survive for long outside a living cell because they can't reproduce without help. Here, a virus invades a human cell. Once inside, it hijacks the cell's control mechanism and uses it to make thousands of copies of itself. The cell explodes and vomits out pieces of itself containing invisible virus particles. Released into the body, they soon invade other cells and the infection spreads. This is a human cell in its death throes, infected by flu virus. The cell shrivels up and dies. At this stage of infection, the body's ultimate defense systems are on red alert. Special white cells have their own route around the body, a second circulation system called the lymphatic system. These cells use this highway to patrol the body, constantly on the lookout for invaders. They may take direct action or return to a lymph gland to raise the alarm. White cells have their own highways and their own headquarters. Here's the inside of the tonsil, where a host of white cells are waiting for action. Each plays a special role. It's a two-pronged attack: chemical warfare and hand-to-hand fighting. The thrashing stick-like objects are bacteria under attack from the body's killer cells. It's an unequal struggle. Within seconds, the bacteria are destroyed. A gang of human killer cells attacks a foreign cell. It's a fight to the death. Here, a white cell is ensnaring bacteria. They are impaled on the cell's tentacles. Once captured, they will quickly be eaten and destroyed. White cells don't always win. This one has itself been killed, disemboweled by its prey, a needle of asbestos in a human lung. After the killer cells, the chemical warfare begins. The body's immune system swings into action. Special cells are summoned to make a chemical poison against the invaders. We're equipped to produce hundreds of thousands of different poisons, Y-shaped molecules called antibodies. Each is a specialist designed to attack just one particular germ. Antibody molecules make for particular sites on the virus's coat, the white patches which mark it as foreign. A chemical process is triggered, which dissolves away the cell walls and kills it. If we should ever encounter that virus again, these cells will remember and react faster, so it never takes hold. We've become immune. But viruses can change their coats and fool our immune systems, so the battle against infection goes on. Every hour of every day, our bodies fight for survival. White cells are constantly in action. They kill by strangling, by poison, and by crushing. If these cells turn their vicious attack on our own tissue, we would never survive. Defense and repair is one of the most vital functions of the human body, even in the laziest of us. It is also one of the most effective and efficient. It keeps us one step ahead of a hostile world.